Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of Penny Dreadful. This week's episode is Season 2, Episode 7, entitled Little Scorpion. And, if you didn't notice the mess behind me, like I mentioned in my previous videos, I moved into my aunt's, and the room's starting to come together a little bit more, although things are still a mess around here in general. I did start setting up my figures on the two bookshelves over this way, which I'll try to give you an angle on. You can see some stuff going on there, sorta, kinda. But yeah, might show more of that somehow in another video later. But I got most of my TV show DVDs over there. Most of my movies are there, as well as my horror figures, and then this bookshelf closest to me has most of my Marvel, DC stuff. And I'm about to devote a shelf to Godzilla as well. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Things have still been a little bit odd around here, having my aunt, her two sons, and my grandma around, along with my parents and my cat and her dog. But it's been a little bit better lately. I mean, we have Showtime and HBO and HD TV set now, with my TV in here and another one out there. So things have been getting better. But yeah, now on with the actual point of this video. Bloody Jacob getting to that point, what is this? But this week's episode of Penny Dreadful might be one of my personal favorites of the season. And that's because I think I said in a video, some kind of video on my gallery here, that if you have two great characters from a TV show, from a movie, from a book, from any kind of story whatsoever, you should be able to lock them in a room together and just have them make the whole episode, the whole story, the whole movie great, just because of them playing off of each other and how deep they are as characters and their chemistry and things like that. And Penny Dreadful, I already knew they could do it, but Penny Dreadful successfully proved it with this episode, because a major portion of the episode is dedicated to Vanessa and Ethan fleeing to the Cutwife's cottage, trying to get away from London, because obviously that's not safe, and Sir Malcolm is obviously under some kind of spell with Miss Evelyn Poole, of course, who's trying to seduce him, and has kind of successfully at this point, but hopefully he'll come out of it at some point by the end of the season. And meanwhile we also see Victor, he is still kind of messed up about Lily's involvement with Dorian, but he allows her to go, and she has quite the interesting turn for a character in this episode too, because she goes out with Dorian, and Dorian's charming, and I still wonder if Dorian realizes it's Brona, you know what I mean? I think he senses something about it, but there's no way he can be completely certain of what actually happened. If anything, he knows that he thinks it's Brona, and she's just trying to change her identity to try to give herself a better life. But I haven't been the biggest fan of Dorian Gray on the show. I think he's still one of the more less interesting parts on the series. But with this, he's a little bit more connected to one of the more important stories. So I was more fine with his scenes in this episode than previous. So they had that going on, and also they did have Victor and Lyle working together. And something else to know about that Lily thing. Once Lily and Dorian's date is over, Lily is carried off on a carriage to go back home to Victor. And they're also spotted by the creature who had seen them together, so I imagine he'll be a little bit upset about that. And then also the fact that Lily went into this more like a men's pub bar type of thing, and she started having sex with this 50, 60-year-old guy, which is kind of random. I don't really get the part, but so that was happening, and then Lily just starts strangling him as she's on top of him, and she kills him. So I'm wondering if this is something that sort of happened with the creature, even though the creature has seemed less homicidal lately. There's still that bit of monster in him, you know what I mean? So I'm wondering if it's a similar thing with Lily. You know what I mean. I just said that. But so that part was a decent turn for the character. So she's more than just trying, not being aware of who she really is. Now she has like another layer to this new version of herself. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And back to the main point of the episode, which was Vanessa and Ethan's time together. And I've been waiting for these two to, forge a romance all season. So Jason Mask, like, right there. But anyway, all series, really. And it kind of started happening in this episode, kind of didn't. That's not what it all was about, either. But, nonetheless, I still kind of hope they're going to forge something like that together eventually. And I think that'd be a good long-term, like, series-ending thing for a couple, But, like I said, two fantastic characters played excellently by, Eva Green and Josh Hartnett. And they did a great job with showing both, like, each side of both characters in this episode. With Ethan needing to go outside to let the wolf out, and as I described, the monsters or the demons are in themselves, and we see a good shot of Ethan's wolf briefly, tearing into his werewolf form tearing into a sheep. So that was pretty intense. I like the blood effects of that, and they also run across, as they're like picking herbs and stuff like that. They run across Sir Geoffrey, I think his name was, that we seen in the flashback episode earlier this season with the cut wife. The main one that Evelyn had seduced to sort of like have the cut wife burned in the first place. He comes across Ethan and Vanessa, and of course he starts talking bad to Vanessa, and Vanessa is trying to restrain Ethan. Ethan's about ready to take his head off right there. And so I was glad they brought that character back, because I just wanted him to get killed. And yes, that did happen in this episode. At first, Ethan was trying to talk Vanessa out of it, saying, you don't want like any man's soul on your conscience, or like, his blood on her hands and things like that, because she's already carrying around enough as it is. But then the same thing can be said for Ethan. But Ethan that night, goes over to his manor, and of course he's a sharpshooter as well as a werewolf. And, aims a gun at him, but as we see that starting to happen, we see Vanessa sort of using one of her darker powers, as she actually, from such a distance away, she kind of compels or makes the dogs sort of like start to attack Sir Geoffrey, and the dogs tear him apart as he's trying to feed him. So I thought that was pretty cruel, but justifiably so. And Ethan sees that happen, and he automatically knows right away it was Vanessa. And I also have to deal with the storms coming in. Fire is nearly started, and both literally and figuratively. And they actually share a kiss, and looks like they're about to do adult-like things. And then Vanessa breaks it off, because what has previously happened with her romantic relationships or sexual intercourse, sexual relationships in the past. Like with Dorian last season, and what happened originally with Mina and her fiance and such. She's afraid that will come out again if she ever tries to forge that with anyone else. I still think it'll happen, like, full on between Ethan and Vanessa at some point, whether that's at the end of the season or later in the series. But I do hope when it does happen, it's there for the whole show. It's one of the main focuses. I hope when it does happen, that's going to be like the final person for both of them. You know what I mean? So I like that, it's fighting for both characters. I like that they're taking their time with it and not completely forcing it. So I really like the slow and steady build up to that. And I'm probably forgetting quite a few things about this episode, but like I said, it's been still been kind of hectic around here. And so we have 3 episodes left this season, I think. 8, 9, 10, yep. So I'm definitely going to miss the show, but it was renewed for season 3 just recently. It was recently reported, so I'm very happy about that. Like I said in the past, I think it is probably the best and most high-quality series on TV or any network right now. I put it right up there with Game of Thrones as far as their episode quality and consistency goes. And yeah, so season 2, episode 7, Little Scorpion, another very, very good episode from the series. Probably one of my personal favorites in the season, just because of the heavy character concentration we got for Ethan and Vanessa, and the rest of it was pretty enjoyable too. So yeah, if I forgot to mention anything, or you want me to elaborate on some other things about the episode, feel free to leave a comment below. We'd love to discuss it with you guys. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time, and peace.